What song is that?
Oh, it's Beach House.
I heard a Beach House song today I liked.
Yeah, I've been obsessed with the Beach House for about 14 years.
Oh, really? I didn't know they've been around
Yeah.
that long. Give me 1 second.
What's up, guys?
What's
Hey.
happening, Darren?
How y'all been?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So what's up,
So,
guys?
you guys all you guys have an early one today? You guys would take it easy a little bit?
Yeah, I had like an off day, sort of. I just did some bids. I went and looked at some jobs and did a bunch of phone calls, and so I kind of had to like regroup a little bit. So today was that. So
One of those admin days where you get to catch up on some of the details.
yeah, kind of.
I had a slow afternoon, so I was gonna start a project I've been waiting to do. I have a bunch of wood from a tree I cut down in my backyard. It's a maple tree, and I have a guitar that I bought. It's like a Frankenstein's monster. It has like a really expensive neck
Hmm.
on it. It's got a warm off neck and like high-end Fender electronics in it, and all these high-end parts, but then this cheap body that's like kind of ultra heavy that's chipped all up. Somebody decided they were going to try and distress it, but it's got this weird epoxy coat under the finish. So they thought they'd be able to see the wood, and it wasn't that way. And so I'm going to make a new body for the guitar and then transfer all the good parts to it, and then have a new Stratocaster. But I went tonight to start. I picked two different pieces of wood. Like I got this stuff's like this thick, and I cut one of them down because I started to feed them through the planer. The planer wouldn't drag them, and I was like, "What in the world's going on?" So I got to look, and the feed wheels aren't spinning on my planer, so that kind of bunged up my night.
Oh,
Oh man,
I'll got to tear that apart tomorrow. I
that's
guess
going to be an
that's
awesome
why it's not.
project.
so that's opposite of the blade. It's just the feeder part.
Yeah, the blades are working. Like if I manually shove it, it'll go, but it's like it's a bear to shove. It's all there's only one motor. It's just got different gears to run stuff. So some gear somewhere is busted or something probably. And I'll have to do that. I'll tear it apart at work tomorrow because it's that one's not my planer. My planer's just a hair too small to do the job. I have a planer at my house that I love my planer, but it's
Yeah.
just like just this much too narrow a board
Is it
to be
really
able to
just
play it.
Mm.
just for this particular project? But
Yeah.
that's an awesome project. How cool
I'm
is
looking
that?
forward to seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
Man. So are you gonna have to let that once you get it planed, you're gonna have to let it keep drying out?
I cut the tree down last summer, and then one of the guys at work's got a sawmill, so we took it over to the sawmill, milled it down into boards, and then stacked it in the shop out back for like 6, 8 months. So
It's been drying.
it's been drying.
Should
Yeah.
be activated.
Should be good by now, I believe. It's heavy.
Is
That
it?
was some hard maple
I
too.
was gonna say maple's real hard, isn't it?
Yeah. You can get soft maple, but this stuff was like that sawmill was struggling.
But
Yeah.
but why I like maple is even if it's really hard maple, it smooths out like really well. Like oak is still grainy, and
Hmm.
even when you get it really, really like a high grit sandpaper, it still has like it's really porous and just
Yeah.
Yeah.
you feel the grains. Where maple, it's like glass, like when it sands out, like even if it's really hard stuff.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be the perfect material.
So this is the first are you taking care of yourself of 2025?
Yeah.
How you guys feeling? So I think we need to give Sean his flowers first off because the last episode he basically said he gives up. He's not gonna he's done. He
Story of
tried.
my life.
He did his best. He did his best, and then it didn't work out. And hey, such is life. And then like 3 days later or a week later, he texted me and Darren a video of him getting the 1,000 pounds. So what happened?
So yeah, I was after I was talking to you guys, I went back out and I was so close, and I was so close for so long that I felt like I got to fight to the end. So January 2nd was the day that I initially recorded and set my challenge or made my challenge to myself public. So I went out to lift on January 2nd, and my wrists were so beat up that I just was in my back. And I just thought I gave it my best, and I just don't have it. I don't have it in me. And so I recorded a concession speech, and it was tragic. And I was all but crying on the thing. But I did. It had brought back a couple memories of some conversations that I had. One in particular with my friend Paul, who he made real clear early on. He said, "I believe you can do it, and I 100% support you." He said, "In case something happens, don't quit. Just remember the good that you're doing and let that be the focus." And initially, when he told me that, I was like, well, that kind of sounds like Paul doesn't really believe I can do it. He left me an off ramp. But it just turns out that he's been through enough, because he had done some bodybuilding in the past, and he'd done some powerlifting in the past, and he stays real active, and he just knew enough that sometimes things happen and your plans get derailed. So I remembered that, and he just has been a big supporter through it all. And so I thought, yeah, I've done a lot of good. And it was the jump start that I was actually, that's what the whole thing was. It was to jumpstart myself to getting back to taking care of myself a little better. And it worked. And that's what it served its purpose as a catalyst. And I thought, I can't quit now. I can't be sad about it and quit. And so if it takes me another year to get it, well, maybe it takes me another year, but I'm just going to take the pressure of the specific goal off, and then just work at getting healthy, being mobile, and, getting some flexibility and regular strength back. Cause I felt like I beat myself up pushing too hard. I felt like that was part of what beat me up. But I went back out on the 6th, and I was just every intention of starting my new regimen, just real lightweight. And I started with 155 pounds and didn't have no plans to go heavier than that. But everything just was moving just fine. I warmed up good, and I didn't even have those aches from like 4 days before. And so I just stacked a little more weight on, and it was just moving. It just was moving. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. But up to that point, and this was the part that just kept making me sad, made me think like, I just don't have it. I've given it my best, and I just don't have the stuff. Because I'd get to 350 pounds and I couldn't budge a pound more. Like not even budget. But it was moving that night. It was moving. So I put on 355, and I held my breath, and it went. And I thought, oh man, I think I got more. I think I got more in this. So I got the phone out, and then I started recording, and I made a 10-pound jump from there, because it felt like 355 was work for me, but I felt like I had 10 more in there. So I jumped right to 365, which is exactly what I needed. And it went. And that was a little video that I showed you guys, and I was happy, man.
When you got to the top and you locked out and you looked at the camera and smiled, I was like, oh, he did it.
Oh man. And I sent that I sent it to my dad. I sent it to my nephews, like, oh man.
Oh yeah. That's like
what inside. And I sent it to the girls.
You like send it to group chats, and your wife's like, you haven't talked to them in like 6 months. And you're like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They all have to gotta get this
now. But I had been growing that little goatee because I wasn't going to shave it until I hit my goal. That was like just a fun aside. But it did come out that Jess didn't really care for the goatee. So when I threw the towel in on that, I said, all right, well, I'll just get rid of this thing then. And I wish I would have held on another week so I could at least hit it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, man. That's good. Yeah. That's awesome.
We're all proud of you. That was pretty great.
Thank you. No, you guys this whole thing has been just a fun support. And I was just really pleasantly surprised at how supportive so many people were, and just like excited for me, and like people got back and said, no, you, that kind of stuff motivated me, and they kind of got going on some goals, and like checking out the pod, and like it's made a difference for some people. So it was really fun to see that.
I think it's like you're holding yourself to something because like even if 20 people see this, then
Yeah.
that's 20 people that are like, is Sean gonna
Yeah.
stick with it or whatever, you know? So it's like just gives you a little bit extra motivation to like keep with stuff. Or if you make a plan, you put it out there, it just makes it more real, you know?
Yeah. And that accountability part of it was why, because and as I learned even more so throughout, how much I have taken it easy on myself when push comes to shove. I'll just kind of
And
just got
the beauty of
my
having a goal,
history.
the beauty of having a goal like that is it makes you be consistent.
Yeah.
When you start getting consistent, you start making gains, then you want to stay consistent, and then you're like getting to the end. It made you do it.
Yeah.
Made you
Yeah.
get consistent. And over long, and then, one of the things I realized myself when I was lifting is like I when I started staying consistent, and then you start to get little jumps in weight, and then all of a sudden you look back and you're like, oh wait, I'm way up from where I was when I started this. And you start to see a year later, you're like, oh man, yeah, like I look different, like I feel different, my
Yeah.
weights are up. It gives you that motivation. And look where you are now, 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Where
Well,
did
and
you
it's
start at? Where were you at like at the beginning of this process? Like how
me.
much did you have to add? Yeah.
I think I calculated I think I was at 875.
Oh wow. So that's a big jump,
It
like
was
125
125
pounds. Yeah.
pounds.
That's cool.
Nice.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Well, it looks like you're doing good work over there too. You're moving that 3 plates around like that looked
That
easy
was,
actually.
I feel like I don't like I have to just be able to do it not easily, but like somewhat not I can't hurt myself. Like I
Yeah.
have to work. I
Yep.
can't and I'm not like a big weightlifter as far as like pushing myself. It's got to be somewhat easy or just like routine for me to do it and feel okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to change like my grips. I don't want to wear a belt. I don't want to max because
Yeah.
like I just can't hurt myself. So to
Push it to the point of risking
yeah.
injury.
So with deadlifts, I was always like high twos, but then I would just be like, yeah, that's good. And then I think I hit like 305 and I felt good. But then I picked up 315 and it wasn't even like particularly hard.
Yeah, it didn't look hard.
So
Now it looked like
it
you just
felt
went
good.
bloop.
Yeah, so it felt good because it was like within my means. It was like not gonna ruin my day. I didn't even
Yeah.
feel like I was gonna risk hurting myself. So it felt good to see like that because I know I can do more, but it just felt good that I can do that and know that I can
Yeah.
go about my day. If I have to like go do flooring or something like that, I can bend over.
Yeah.
So
Well, when it's like that, like you own that weight.
yeah,
You own it. It's not like maybe on a good day. Like it's yours. It's in your pocket.
but I feel like my bench is light and my squat is lighter than it's been or that I feel comfortable with. So
Okay.
that's where I told my trainer, like, I want to focus more on that. So we have like Tuesdays and Fridays that we go. And then he was like, let's just do Fridays or weight training. Like Tuesdays we'll do more motion and conditioning. Fridays will be weights. And so he asked what I'd want to get better at. And I told him it was bench press.
So then, other than outside of consistency, is there anything that you guys are changing in the routine to target those exercises specifically, or like
Uh,
are you doing supplemental exercises?
I'm back playing basketball on Mondays and then I'm running Sundays. So I feel like better about doing a full weight day and
Okay.
not doing as much conditioning or like cardio because I'm picking that back up somewhere else. Where like if I was just working out twice a week, I wouldn't want to do 1 day a week of just weights because I do feel like strong enough. Like that's not my thing is
No.
being stronger. It's probably like losing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I usually do like a month in the fall of like no drinking and no um, processed foods and bread and like sugar. Like I just cut everything out except for fruits and vegetables and chicken. So we did it this month. So I just finished on Friday.
Yeah.
Um, so I was I think last summer I was like pushing 260, like maybe 255.
Okay.
So when I saw you in LA, I was probably like 255. But when I started January 4th, I was 251.
Okay.
And now I'm 234. So,
Wow.
That's awesome.
but I mean, I
That's
didn't do
awesome.
anything for a month. Like there was just no added calories, sort of. But now I've lost like 3 pounds since I've been off of it because I'm trying to stick to the same, like what makes me feel good, which is
Yeah.
no bread and no dairy. So I've been eating like just chicken and chickpeas, or like yesterday I just had shrimp and 2 scrambled eggs for dinner, and then doing my smoothie in the morning. So just the amount of calories I'm taking in is less, but I'm still not having any processed foods, and like I'm just trying to like look at how much I'm eating and what I'm eating.
Okay. And
And
you
I
feel better.
I feel like I feel better on somewhat of a more protein rich diet,
Okay.
animal products, but keeping the greens. Like the smoothies that I do in the morning have a lot of greens in them. So not just cutting anything out, but it's like apples and banana and berries and greens and all that. So
They say that when you cut out all the ultra process, all that processed stuff, and just kind of eat whole foods, which is vegetables, fruit, meat, it really is, it's a pretty short list. But if you live on that list, it's like the best thing for you. Because, I mean, we were not designed to eat a bunch of chemicals.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, when we were in DC, like when we saw you, Darren, there was like a day there where I went to Whole Foods and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get like sandwich stuff because I know I'll feel good on that. And I just had like a turkey sandwich, like sliced turkey, cheese, lettuce. To like I thought I was making like a really good sandwich. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Like it messed me up so bad.
Real?
Yeah. So I was like, I think my body just does not like processed.
Wow.
And then I realized, I think maybe I told you, Darren, or someone, but they were like, oh, there's so much sodium in like meat like that, like sliced meat. So I think
Yeah.
it messed up my system.
Oh, wow.
Somebody on a podcast one time I was listening to pointed out the difference in our bread and how bad it is for you. Um, and they just basically said if you go to Europe and you go to a bakery, you see a little spot that says 2 day old bread. And you look at 2 day old bread, the price is marked down, it gets sold out quick because it's cut way down on price. If you come in, the next day, there's not another spot where there's like 4 day old bread or anything. If it gets that old, it gets thrown away because it's bad, right?
Yeah.
So then think about how long the loaf of bread that's on your counter's been sitting there. Think about how long it sat on a shelf at a store before you got it. Think about how long it was in a truck trying to get to that store. Think about the warehouse or the bakery it came from. What's the timeline there? What
Yeah.
did they do to it to be able to make it last that long?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just loaded full of preservatives.
Yeah,
Something that's not
it's
natural.
not good for you.
it's a good point. Yeah,
So
so just not eating that and like cutting out breakfast sandwiches in the morning from gas stations, which
Yeah.
is maybe my favorite thing in the world, but just not doing it.
I will say I have gotten better about that. I think I have made jokes before about an unhealthy hostess intake. Like I'm finally got that mostly under control. And no, I'm not doing any energy drinks at all.
Huh?
I just weaned off of them. So I don't even want them anymore.
So then what do you do? Like, do you just do more coffee or do you just not do
Um,
it?
I probably do more coffee than I should, but I try to. I'm trying to drink more water, which I haven't been as good about as I should have, as I should be. But Jess is really getting after me about because I'll complain about getting achy and stuff, and she says I'm not replenishing electrolytes, working physical, and I'm not. And she's pointed out to me it's not just hydrating; it's replacing the electrolytes. Because like Darren's talking about with the bread, everything's been so processed. Well, even our water has been, because everything our natural water sources are not clean anymore. So they have to go through an ultra filtering process before we can drink it. But now the filtering takes out anything that's good in there too. So
Yeah,
trying to make sure we're getting back our potassium and magnesium and good sodium.
Chelsea bought a salt. What was the salt you bought? Celtic salt. It,
Oh,
and then she puts it under her tongue, and it replenishes your electrolytes. Yeah.
yeah.
really?
She got like a special bag of just the salt. It's not for like cooking or anything else. Yeah, you can use it in that way, but she just uses it, and she's giving it to me like just put a dash under your tongue.
Just like a little pinch or something, just right under your tongue.
Yeah, Celtic salt.
I do kind of something similar. I started taking it, putting it, instead of having my first thing in the morning coffee, I boil hot water on the little tea kettle thing, and then just put the salt in the thing, dump the
Oh,
hot water on there, and then it dissolves that salt real fast because it's hot. And that's how I get mine. I didn't get Celtic salt, but I was gonna. Ended up getting Baja Gold. It's very similar.
Hmm.
I guess it comes from Baja, Mexico, but it's like Celtic salt in that it's got a bunch of the minerals basically that you can put back into your body because basically a lot of the stuff that we would normally get is just taken out of everything.
So it's probably like the same thing, pretty much like just replenishing those minerals and stuff.
like a good natural source of salt, so it still has the minerals that we need. And so
Mhm.
that hot water salt mix, is that kind of replacing your first cup of coffee?
Yeah, I still like I'll do that before I leave for work, and I'll just drink it on my way to work. And then when I get to work, coffee's already there made. So by the time I get to work, then I'll have coffee.
Yeah.
Do you
Can't
do
quite
it
smell it with
for
coffee.
do you do it for hydration or you do it like for other reasons too, just to give you back those minerals?
Mostly the minerals. And I do need to drink more water. I don't do it enough, but the minerals is really the main reason I do it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'll get on a kick where I'm really good for a week, and then I won't touch water for like a month and a half, and then
It's back
terrible.
on.
Just whatever
You're like you're like
whatever I'm
on
squeezing out of.
you're like on the wagon, but for water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm off water right now.
my stupid joke. Everyone's always tired of hearing it. They're like, "You want some water?" I'm like, "Oh, never touch this stuff."
That's hilarious.
I'll laugh every time.
So then what's your guys's so my goal this year is to try to get to 199.
Oh man.
So
That's pretty good.
You could do it. You're on a roll because you know what it is right now is you've already changed your habits and your body's already acknowledged it. Like when you did the sandwich and your body's like, nope, not going back to the old way. Like, so the big changes have already been made.
I feel like 220 will be manageable, like to get there. I
Yeah.
think the 220 to 199 is going to be
It's going to be worth
near
it.
impossible feeling. But that's my goal. And so I'm going to try to do the same thing you did and just talk about it on a
Okay.
podcast.
I like it.
So now we've
I
all
like
heard it. We have the new goal.
Now you've all heard it and I have to
Now
stick
it's
to
out
it or
there.
at least try. And I might be like 209 uh December 25th. Then I'll remember that Sean did it and I'm gonna only drink water for like 2 weeks.
Just don't shave your beard until it's all done.
If I'm at like 200, I'm gonna shave my beard to get to 199.7.
Yeah, 'cause it'll be. I'm gonna say you'll lose a pound just shaving off.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
working on
awesome.
that, and then I started running a little bit, but I do want to do another half marathon in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got one picked out that you can sign up for, or you can start looking.
There's a friend in my hall that he said a bunch of Bethelites are doing one in Poughkeepsie, so I was gonna look into that. I feel like it'd be more fun to go away for it, but we're going to Africa in August, so that's kind of like our focus money wise. So we'll see.
I think I just saw my brother took off because he lived in Africa for a while,
Yeah.
and I think they're back for. I think they just took off for a visit. Went to go back.
Are
He was
they,
excited. I
where
talked to
did
him a
they
couple of
go?
weeks ago, and he was excited.
Yeah.
Cote d'Ivoire,
Good one. That's
yeah,
cool.
Ivory Coast.
So we're going to the special in Zimbabwe, and then we're gonna go to South Africa because it's our 20th. So
Oh man, 20 years for you guys.
yeah,
Oh,
crazy, right?
congratulations, bro.
Yeah,
Thanks.
man, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
So because of that, we're not venturing out much
Yeah,
uh, winter and spring. But if I can do a half like somewhere around here, that would suffice.
yeah, yeah. That's something to work for.
I
Yeah.
That's
haven't
pretty
been
cool.
running at all. I need to pick a race too, just so I'll start running again and start training.
Do you want to plan one and just do it?
Man, I ought to. Uh, I was thinking about this the other day because my big thing I've been trying to do is get my sleep straight because then
Yeah.
I
So
can start.
how's your sleep going?
Yeah, you'd mentioned that it gets rough sometimes.
Well, I did a sleep study and apparently it came back really harsh. Like I
Really?
slept. They said there's I guess two different kinds of sleep apnea. I had some of both,
Oh,
and they said I stopped breathing like 80 times or something. It was a whatever it was a lot. They sent me my results. I looked at them. They're like, "Yeah, you need to fix this."
Did you say
So
80?
yeah,
Oh man.
it's I had a particularly bad night of sleep. It was worse than normal because they make you wear this like thing on your chest, and then you got this thing in your nose, and then like that, all the hoses to that run to the thing on your chest, and then you have this thing on your finger that has a bunch of wires that goes to the thing on your chest. It's just a lot of stuff to wear. So I slept terrible that night, and then I guess it all got recorded on the thingy, and they were like,
they're
"Ooh."
like, you're not breathing more than you are breathing.
They're like, your oxygen levels are dropping into the to drop down to 80. That's not good. I was like, oh,
Wow.
I was like, is that, well, I don't know what normal is. They said your normal is running, was at the beginning of the night was running around 94, and then it just, and
Hmm.
apparently when you get into the 80s, it like, it's not so hot. So
Okay.
they said I needed to try a CPAP machine, which I just got one, but I don't have the mask. It didn't
Okay.
come in the mail like it was supposed to. And
Okay.
now it's not going to be here till Friday. So we'll see. Be able to try a CPAP machine and see if that makes any difference for me in starting Friday or next week or so.
So
Okay.
that's
Well, that'd
the
be
next step is trying the machine.
Yeah. So I have the machine. It's all set for me. I just don't have the face mask piece to it, which I ordered online because, you can buy that stuff on Amazon and
yeah.
not have to pay a medical company or whatever. And
Do you like do you have sinus issues? Like do you have like a deviated septum or anything? Like do you know what is maybe like the actual source of the issue?
um I don't know. I do know that it's real. I don't breathe good through my nose. I'm clogged up frequently. I've never had it looked at. There's a chance that I have a deviated septum because like if I push across like this, then I can breathe through my nose so much better.
Oh, really? If you manually put the pressure, you can feel it open up.
Yeah, it opens up a little bit and then I can breathe a little bit.
Have you tried those strips that like open that up more?
Yeah, I have. They don't stay on my nose they don't stay all night, but they help a little bit. It's hard to get those right, but then they said that, see, there's two different kinds. The obstructive kind where something's not letting you, something's in the way, kind of like that would be obstructive.
Yeah.
And then there's another kind, which is basically your nervous system not telling you to breathe. And they said I did both. Uh, so sometimes your body just stops doing it for whatever reason. And then your brain's not the signal from your brain's not getting where it needs to go. And so sometimes it's the obstructive thing, and sometimes it's that, according to what they said on my test. So I got a touch of both, and we're going to try the CPAP machine, but the CPAP machine may not be enough for. I think it works good for the obstructive kind, but it's kind of not as good for the other kind. So
Okay.
we'll
Well,
have
you
to.
kind of are you glad to have done the test and at least have at
Yeah,
least a starting point to start going forward? Because you've been frustrated for a long time, right? Tried a lot of different stuff.
yeah, and I think I just really would love to be able to just go to bed at night, not get up 5 or 6 times, and just like sleep the whole night. I like to get in bed, be able to fall asleep, get in bed, sleep the night through. I slept the night through recently one night, and it's like the only time I can remember in the last 6, 8 months that I had a whole night where I didn't get up. And I was like, ooh, it's like a whole new world the next day.
Colors are brighter.
Everything functions. I get up out of bed. I feel okay. I don't like have to fight the alarm clock to make myself get up.
Wow. So so next step would be sleep app or CPAP or
Yeah,
whatever it's called. And that actually like pushes oxygen like into your nose, right? Or into your mouth.
into your nose or your mouth. So I have, they did give me a mask that would go over my nose, just my nose. That wasn't working so good because my nose, I can't half breathe through it. Plus, I've recently been ill, so my head's clogged full of junk still a little bit. And so if you open your mouth, the stuff that it's pushing into your nose just goes blazing a trail out your mouth. So you're just like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not making it. It's not making it in your lungs, getting dispersed to your
Yeah.
brain where it needs it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So once I get my new mask that's supposed to have already been here, I will try this and see if it works. If it fixes me, yay. If not, we'll try something else, I guess.
Yeah.
So 2025 is Darren figuring out sleep.
I guess it's me figuring out sleep because it'll make all my other goals possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you get that figured out
I
because
do too.
that's
I'm curious. I'm curious to follow along with this one and see how that
been a
goes for
long
you.
road for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Kind of beats up your everything when you're not sleeping good.
yeah.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you like how does it affect your day to day? Like because then you're just tired at work, you're tired at night, like when you have a meeting, like it's just kind of
Like in the mornings, it's hard to get out of bed. Then, because like you kind of didn't get a good rest, so you're still tired. And I get my best sleep is the last couple hours before I get out of bed in the morning,
yeah.
because you're up and down, then you're exhausted, and then you finally fall asleep.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
uh, then off and on through the work day, I just find myself constantly wanting to go sit down,
Mm.
Um, like
which is not
actually
a great
exhausted.
thing.
Does it help to like exhaust yourself? Like, is that why you work out at night? Like, are you trying to like get yourself so tired that you just want to sleep?
That I work out at night because I can't drag myself out of bed in the morning for some reason. Because I'm not sleeping good, I guess. Not for some reason, but
For some
uh,
reason, I don't sleep.
but it's what's funny is after I work out, I have more energy,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
I had most of the day. I have found that if I can get myself in the routine of getting up in the morning and doing something then I have more energy all day. Um, I just really need to get myself set in a better rhythm. And, if I can do that, then let's say I can start sleeping good. I get up in the morning, then I'll start running at the park in the morning on the way to work again. Because when I do that, I have more energy through the rest of the day. And then I get, like, if I can, it'll make it easier for me to heal up. It'll make it easier for me to lose weight. I do need to trim up a couple pounds because I'm a little on the heavier side now. I'm about 209, and I'd probably be better suited about 195 or so if I don't lose a lot of strength. But like all my numbers right now have gone in the pan because I was sick in January. I got COVID or something at the
hey,
big.
you and Melissa both got like ravaged.
Yeah, it's as soon as I was getting over COVID, or whatever it was. Like I turned it head cold, ended up in my chest, and ended up with bronchitis.
Yeah.
And then we're getting better. Like I felt better. I was still coughing, but I felt fine. I was like, all right, we had a snowstorm. I was like, I gotta get up on the mountain and go ride.
Yeah.
I haven't been this year, so I went snowboarded. There were some boys up there in that were up snowboarding. And I went up, met up with these guys at the mountain road, and then we all came back, watched the playoff game. Next day, I had flu type A,
Oh,
and
Man.
then me and Melissa both had. Melissa was already getting. I could tell the night before she was like going back in the bag. She's
yeah.
getting sick again, and I was this time it was different. So we went straight from COVID to flu type A and just stayed sick.
Man.
That's a drag. That's what my oldest daughter is dealing with. She got sick and then she just can't kick it. And I don't know if it's one long deal dragging on or if she's just got a couple, one after another. But she's got that dry cough right now that, man, she kept everybody up last night. We were all
Yeah. We had KM school on Saturday, and you could hear everyone coughing. Like you hear so many people coughing.
fun shot in the arm, huh?
It is. It's also a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
It's good. So Sean, so now that you've hit 1,000, like where do you go from here?
Well, I would kind of like to pull. I still want to. I don't know if I'll make it this year, and I'm not going to push myself to do it. I do have the goal of pulling 400 pounds. I'd like to be able to deadlift 400 pounds. I think that's realistic, but I'm not going to push myself as hard as I had been. More along your theory, like I want to make sure I can control. I want to be confident that I can control it up before I start going for,
Yeah.
bigger weight. I do have, I think I have about 10 or 15 pounds that I want to lose, which is more than I've really ever. I'm heavier than I've been before. And I don't think I move enough and I've always it's another one of those things where in my mind, I've always told myself, oh, I'm physical at work. I'm moving plenty. And I think I'm actually not. So, that's the goal is to get more active again. And then actually follow through more consistently with, Jess has helped me a lot with like pointing me in the good direction on what's going to be good for me, like what I should be taking in, what I should be cutting out. So just to be more consistent, give it a fair shot, not just some weeks do it and some weeks don't, but be consistent and actually let everything do its job.
Yeah.
But I think I really want to be mobile again. So I think I've told you guys a few different times that I still like to get out there and try and play football with the kids.
Yeah.
And so I got a group up in Washington that invites me, my nephews, but then there's a little group down here that invites me along too. And, they're all 20, 21, 22, 23 years old in great shape and fast as the wind. And I get out there and I try and move around with them, but I never won anything, but they did a whole tournament and, did a whole playoff system and everything. And I ended up on the team that won it. And
That's cool.
They did confetti for us and everything. He had a trophy.
That's awesome.
So it was fun to be a part of these kids. They were actually very gracious to bring me along. I think I ended up being a mascot of sorts. Like a cranky old badger.
Remember who was the guy on the Sonics? Steve Scheffler. Remember he'd come off the bench.
The crowd would go nuts.
Like garbage time and drop a couple threes and just be all jazzed. Got everyone excited.
That's awesome.
Funny.
But I did say if I can if I feel like I can move and be an actual contributor, then I'd like to keep playing with the kids. But if I don't want to just be a mascot though. As far as my own dignity, I've played a lot of ball and I feel like I was pretty useful in the day. And I don't want to be just dead weight, just because just because I paid for a jersey. I want to be able to earn it. So that's one of the fun. Just, and it's not, not important stuff, but fun, just kind of fun stuff.
Well, just wanting to still be out there. Like we play basketball on Mondays again, and I've been playing again. And when you have a good night, it's just like I want to keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then some, like last night I couldn't play because my shoulder's been messed up, and you're like, I don't want to be already at a point where I can't play basketball because my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So then for workout, it was just me. Some trainer just worked on my shoulder for like an hour and showed me like exercises and loosened it up so much. So it feels good to know it's not like a tear or anything. It's just um
There's an imbalance or something.
yeah, no, it was just like he opened it up. It's like a blood flow and like stretches type thing can fix it. But
Is that like a because repetitive use on that side, like maybe at work, or what do you think?
really,
What do
no,
you
I
think it
think
is?
maybe I just strained it at some point. But like last weekend, we got in the car and all of a sudden it hurt so bad, like I could barely move it. And then I felt fine working yesterday, but I did a couple of things where I was overhead, and I could like it hurt really bad to put my arm over my like
Really?
above my shoulder line. Um, so then he worked on it this morning, and it feels better. Like, but yeah, you don't want to like stop playing sports
Yeah.
yet. Like I don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my body will do some fun things like that from time to time. If I'm overusing one, you'll get some muscle that's too tight, pulling too far one direction, and one of your joints pays the price.
yeah,
When I was training for that race in the Azores, um, I went through my hard week, which did a lot of running, and then the next week was a slower week. Um, and I did a lot of traveling, so I sat in a car and to get to the beach. Time I got to the beach, my knee was jacked. And I
yeah,
was like, I don't
It
even do
was sitting
this.
in the car that put it over the edge.
Yeah, just riding in the car and just I was like, I need to get this better because like I'm having a hard time here and it's just walking around, it hurts like the devil. And by the time I stretched out, it hurt less for like 5 minutes, but then be right back where it was. Went and got a massage, guy loosened me up. Next day, good to go, ran 20 miles.
oh yeah,
So,
Really?
yep.
That's a great story.
Went to this. I just found a massage therapist at the beach, and he's like, "So what's the situation?" I was like, "Having a problem with my right knee," and I kind of explained to him what I've been doing, and he's like, "So you want to do a little stretching and working in on specific things related to that?" And he worked me over pretty good, and by golly, I was ready to rock and roll after that, and no more problems the rest of the week.
that's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sometimes you just get something torquing the joint the wrong direction and just beat that muscle up a little bit, get it kind of let the blood flow in. When something stays tight too long, it blocks all the blood flow to that stuff.
Yeah. So once you just like allowed space, like it's like a thing too is like understanding like allowing space, like opening things up.
Hmm.
If everything's tight and constricted, it's gonna not flow blood, and then you're gonna have more pain than you would. But just doing a few movements that allow it to open up and get room in there, then blood flow starts coming back, and then it does like a world of difference. So
I think a lot I've learned recently too is just how, and it makes sense. It wasn't, an epiphany or anything, but realizing how, again, how everything is tied together. How I've always, for a long, long time had low back trouble. And I had a couple low back injuries when I was younger. And I just figured, well, it just is all coming back around. And my dad had a bad back. And I just kind of like, oh, well, I just walk just like my dad now. And it's my turn. But figuring out certain hip stretches. And I don't so when I feel it starting to go, I can start doing those hip stretches. It's a good reminder to do it. And it loosens my back is better now than it has been in ages. And in doing so, it started to relieve a lot of that pain in my knee that I was complaining about. So it's all connected.
yeah.
And to realize that, and man, that's been a great relief. So just to have learned a few hip stretches of all things. But again, a lot of it is when I think we might even talked about this, like when you're gearing up to lift a lot of that, that heavy weight. What they say is like everything's got to get tight. Everything's got to get tight to hold it all in. Well, your hips are part of that. Your hips
Yeah.
are real central to all those movements. So I was bringing it in and making it tight, and I just, at some point you gotta remind it to relax and let go too. Like you said, give it the space that it needs, and so it's there's a time and a place for everything, or so we've heard, huh? I think that seems like pretty good advice. It covers a lot of ground.
Yeah. Well, cool. I think we have a groundwork for a year of checking in on each other.
Yeah.
See how we're doing. I really hope he gets the sleep thing figured out. That'd be huge.
Too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Kinda
think of
makes
how likable he's
everything
going to
else
be once
hard.
he starts sleeping. You're like the most
Oh.
likable guy I know. I can't even imagine how nice you're going to be when you start sleeping.
I'll probably be obnoxious. Everybody will be like, God, you're the worst.
What happened? And you're like, I'm sleeping. Oh man. All right, two things. Second one is songs. First one is so we have merch now. So
Yeah, it looks good too.
we should have a shirt too, or a sweatshirt. So do you think we should do a t-shirt, hoodie, hat? Like, what do you guys want if we posted something with this episode? What would be great?
I kind of like that. I kind of like that sweatshirt.
Oh, in the back
Always
says,
kind of great.
needless to say.
I like that. That's perfect.
So we do a hoodie. And are you taking care of yourself hoodie?
I'm
like
also
that.
not opposed to the t-shirt idea.
You like the t-shirt idea?
You a t-shirt?
Oh, let me show you.
I'd be down with a t-shirt too, though.
Kind of like the pocket look. So it's got like the logo on the pocket. So we could do just like I feel like we need to get a logo for Are You Taking Care of Yourself also.
We do need to make a logo. That would be a good place to start, actually.
So if we could figure out a logo, maybe we do a t-shirt to start and then we'll post it.
Off a float, huh?
I feel like we need to do like an Instagram, do the whole thing, and then we can all just post stuff that we see every day on stories and or whatever. So
all right,
we'll have to kind of get that figured out a little bit, but we'll get on it. So all right, Darren, what songs?
Don't start with me.
Okay, Sean, what do you got?
Okay, I'm going to start with my classic country.
Okay.
I'm going to do Bobby Bear, The Winner.
Okay.
I'm going to move to my newer country, and I think I'm going to do Luke Bell, Where You Been.
I like that one.
I didn't do that one already, did I?
No, you did. Let me see. You did. No, you haven't done it yet. We talked about it though, because
Okay.
we talked about because when he died, we talked about it.
Yeah, that's right. The name came up. And then my wild card comes down to a couple, but I think I'm gonna save. No, I'm gonna go for it. And this is legitimate. I actually like this song. It's vintage Paris Hilton, Stars Are Blind.
Vintage.
I said it. I said
I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I just love these vintage Paris Hilton.
Well, because she just did a new album.
Oh, she did?
Did she? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, it's added. What about you,
Just
Darren?
give it a chance. It's a vibe.
Let's do David Ramirez. Harder to Lie.
Okay.
It's an older one I've had for a while. But one I found not too long ago is a song called Evergreen. It's by Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners. And it's got the guy from Camp in it.
Right.
The guy from what?
From Camp.
Oh, okay. I had to wait for I gotta look that one up.
Cool.
I always learn good music from you guys.
Yeah, I always look forward to this just because I got new stuff to listen to.
Yeah. All right. So that's two. You're just gonna go two?
Let's just go to. I forgot to have mine ready, except for the evergreen one.
Um, this one is like is like if you're gonna listen to it, like let me post it and then listen to it on the playlist. But I'm never gonna be able to like put a Cypress Hill song
Okay.
on the list. But I was listening to Cypress Hill instrumentals the other day because
Oh,
their beats are so I love their
yeah.
beats. So Boom Biddy Bye Bye instrumental. Don't
Instrumental.
listen to the
Don't
lyrics.
look it up.
Do not look it up. Just click the song that I put on the playlist, but it's just the instrumental of a
Okay.
Cypress Hill song, like at their best when it was like really like chill beats. Because I was
Sweet.
listening to like more, I've been trying to go to sleep more to like lo-fi beats, like
Mm.
more chill music. Because I'll like straight up put on Turnstile and go to sleep. And I think it's a little chaotic for my brain. So
Yeah, I imagine
Dreams
that
are
that would.
kicking.
so doing like lo-fi beats is better for me. But then I put on like Cypress Hill instrumentals and I just listened to like a bunch of their instrumentals. And Boom Biddy Bye is like a really cool like beat. So
Nice.
so that to go with the country vibe, um there's a song from Johnny Fritz. You ever heard Johnny Fritz?
No.
Mm.
Called I Love Leaving.
Okay.
That I want to put on. And then Steve Young. Do you remember Steve Young? He's old, like 60s.
Oh man.
Called Rock Salt and Nails. So
I
Rock
got some. Oh, that's a great name.
so I'll send those two to you today over
Okay.
text. But I'm gonna add those two country songs and then an instrumental Cypress Hill.
Sweet.
All
There
right.
you
Good to see you guys.
Good. You too.
So we'll do this next month. I have a really good guest in mind. So I think
Okay.
we'll have someone to like add to the mix. He's fun.
Okay.
Nice.
So, let's do that. And then yeah, we'll see how Darren's doing with sleep, how Sean's doing with cutting down a little bit, slimming up.
Yeah, I got to trim up. That's what it is.
And same, and same with me. All right, guys. Good to see you.
All right. Have a good night, boys.
Good night.
Night.
Okay.